Matrix, expand your mind and make you think. Hopefully everyone's doing grand this morning, and hopefully if you, whatever time it is that you've gone on here to watch here, hopefully your time is going amazing. Whichever moment you are in, many blessings to you. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the power and dangers of assumptions. Um, it's kind of an important topic, I think. I want to talk about how they shape our perception, they fuel conflict, and contribute to the challenges we face in our personal lives. And as a global society, assumptions are those preconceived beliefs we hold so dear, and we seem to hold to be true without fully understanding the situations or having enough evidence. There's shortcuts. Apparently, I can't speak this morning, but there's shortcuts for our minds, allowing us to make quick decisions, but too often they lead us astray. When we allow assumptions to guide our thoughts, we aren't truly engaging with reality. Instead, we are engaging with a version of it of it's distorted by our bias and limited understanding. Assumptions create a lot of conflict as well. Think about how many conflicts, whether personal or global, are rooted in assumptions. When we assume someone's motives or intentions without seeking clarity, we create unnecessary friction on a global scale. Assumptions about other cultures, nations, or races fuel stereotypes and perceptions and perpetrate cycles of prejudice. You see, these assumptions create divide. Often they blind us you know, they blind us to the humanity we share. They foster fear, and this fear drives conflict. How many wars, misunderstandings, and instances of discrimination as a result of assumptions about the other. As we make assumptions about people, we create walls between us that are difficult to even dismantle at times. Let me talk about assumptions in relationships. You know, this one will hit closer to home for us all. Assumptions can erode the trust in our personal relationships. How often do we assume that we know what assumptions is thinking or feeling, rather than simply asking? These assumptions lead to misunderstandings that build up over time and can damage friendships, marriage, and even, families. Relationships, actually, a lot of them can be destroyed just by one assumption. When we rely on assumptions, we fail to communicate openly. Over time, this erodes the foundation of any relationship. It is far too common to see relationships deteriorate, not because of intentional harm, but because of assumptions made in silence. Let's call it the fall of mankind. Let's look at a philosophical war, you know, in our minds that we need to pay attention to. Let's pay attention to this view. On a broader philosophical and theological level, assumptions can be seen in the downfall of humanity. In many traditions, including even Christianity, humanity's original sin is tied to the assumption of knowledge that was never fully understood, leading to a fall from grace. It was the assumption of knowledge separating humanity from divine wisdom. Similarly, in modern times, humanity continues to suffer from the assumptions that division, you know, and the competition and the scarcity are inherent in a world. We assume that there is never enough for everyone, that we must compete to survive, and that we must protect ourselves from each other. These assumptions, they feed the cycle of fear and scarcity and holds humanity back. Do you see the cycle that we are doing? How do we break free from this? How can we break free from all these assumptions? The path through is awareness, realizing, having open-mindedness and empathy. We must learn to question the belief we hold. We must challenge the narrative, you know, that we've been taught and have humility to admit that we don't know everything. Awareness means recognizing when our assumptions are steering our perceptions and being mindful of the information we receive. Open-mindedness means being willing to listen to others without judgment. Empathy means putting ourselves in another person's shoes, even when it's uncomfortable, even when we don't comprehend it, and even when those shoes don't fit our feet. In practice, this looks like having difficult conversations, being curious rather than judgmental, and always seeking more information before forming conclusions. It means holding space for others to share their truth and recognizing that the way we see the world might be limited. It also means questioning the social structures and media that shapes our worldview, challenging the assumptions that are presented as facts to us. What's the ripple effect of communication? Well, communication, imagine what it would look like if we stopped making assumptions and embraced open communication instead. Imagine if we stopped jumping to conclusions about others based on race, religion, or political, affiliation, and instead sought to understand each other. Our world would be far less divided. We would experience more compassion, more empathy, and more peace. We are currently living in a world driven by chaos, and division, two of the most significant consequences of assumptions. Look at the wars that have been fought over misunderstandings, the injustice that have been, perpetuated by assumed, by assuming so many things. And then these things caused pain. They were caused by unspoken grievances. The power to create change is within you and me. Yet despite this chaos, we actually have the power. We have the power to create this change. The truth is, assumptions are rooted in fear. And what have I been teaching you guys about fear? Fear is an illusion. The fear of the unknown and the fear of being vulnerable and the fear of having our beliefs challenged is nothing more than an illusion. But yet those are the things that keep us doing these assumptions. So it's time to get over these illusions, because fear is not truth. When we assume, we surrender with that fear. And when we let go of assumptions, we step into our power to create a deeper connection and a more harmonious world. What would happen if we all learned to communicate openly and honestly? If we approached each other with curiosity instead of judgment? If we acknowledge the way our assumptions have shaped our thoughts and actions and made connections and choices to move beyond them? What if we said no more? What if we no longer be trapped in a cycle of conflict? What if we would no longer make enemies out of those who are very different than us? Instead, we would see the humanity in each and every person we meet. We would build bridges instead of walls. So assumptions are a mental shortcut that often lead us astray. They are a product of our fears and biases, and they prevent us from engaging with reality as it is. But when we challenge our assumptions and choose open communication, we move closer to the truth. We move closer to unity, compassion, and understanding. The world before us is a reflection of the assumptions we hold. And if we want more peaceful, loving world, we must begin by challenging the assumptions that divide us. So are you in? Thank you for taking a moment to listen. Make sure you do one thing towards your dreams every single day. It brings you one step closer. And make sure you recognize you're valuable and you matter and you're all unique puzzle pieces to the ultimate puzzle of the cosmos. Much love and peace out.